Да дам думата на Wolfgang Kirsch, CEO на една от най-успешните бързо развиващи се компании, листните на Българска фондова борса и първата такава листната на Франкфуртската борса.
Yes, hello everyone. Thank you very much to Bulgarian Stock Exchange and Frankfurt Stock Exchange for making this happen. This is a very important day for Shelly Group because this will open new doors. This is as well the end of a almost 1.5 year long story that will now start or end in a new story, hopefully. Where, I mean, I'm not a banker. I'm not a legal guy. I'm not even a financial guy. I'm a normal businessman. And what you have heard this morning, even after my 1.5 years, I have to admit I didn't understand half of it. And I was lost in the middle of all these discussions between Eurex Clearing, Clearstream, CCP, something with W. I forgot W. Yeah, this was. Yeah, thank you very much. And there are 20 others. When I started the first discussions in Frankfurt, I said, why are we not on Xetra? I learned immediately, because it is simply impossible. It will not happen. It's impossible. That's what was the first wall that I had to break. Maybe my advantage is that I'm a normal businessman and I did not know that it's impossible. That's why we are standing here, I think, or that has an influence on that. Because, I mean, everything has been said and I don't want to go into all this. I want to tell you a little bit more, especially to the companies that think about extending their presence to Frankfurt Stock Exchange, what this means and how our story was, and that at the end everything is fine, but it's not only very good. So I will not say everything is fine, you have to do that. It comes with a price. The price is not only money, the price is a lot of efforts as well. So there are a lot of pros. And when I joined Shelly Group, we had the first board meeting, and Nikolai Martinov sits here and he is witness of that. The plans were done to go to Frankfurt. My comment was, what do you expect? The expectation was that we have access to a huge number of new shareholders, investors, more institutional investors, more private investors, wider spread. The share price will go up immediately because the huge story, success story of Shelly Group, and that time Alterco, that will just convince everyone immediately. The trading volume will go up and everything will be good. I said, guys, be aware that, and we heard this today as well, yes, there's a huge amount of potential investors in Western Europe and Frankfurt, and you have a better access to them, but they have as well a huge amount of companies they can invest in. That's the trade-off. There is, especially in this situation, there is no room for mistakes because you need a lot of time to convince your investors, your potential investors, the requirements of the market. And I would say, and we heard today, you can go into the maximum required level. I think if you are a Bulgarian company, you have to do that because otherwise there will not be confidence. If this is fair or not, that's not a question. It's just a fact. You have to fight to be in the spotlight. And when I have been at the first investors conference, now 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, with a lot of help of the organizer, the room was, let me say, kind of not empty. No one knew the company. Alterco at that. What is this? Sounds a bit crazy. And it's very time consuming. I have to tell you that I would guess that 50% of my time is going in this direction. Investors management, investors conferences, roadshows. 50% of my time. We have a company to run, we have a company to organize that is growing very fast, that is as well time consuming. So it's not just going like that. Would we do it again? Yes. So what does it take? And I will go through all of these points. Visibility, a precise reporting. It needs time. That's what I call the rule of 7. Resources, you need to build trust, which is relatively easy. Trust building is really easy. Make promises and fulfill them. Very easy. You fail one time and you lose a year. And you need a team of advisors. Normally, I'm not a big fan of advisors. I mean, all of them want to have money. Everyone has good ideas, has no responsibility. That's the good thing if you are an advisor. But you need them, and you need to listen to them, and you need to find the right ones. That is crucial. So let's go to all of these things. Visibility. We started when we were public in Frankfurt, and then in the next year we started with quarterly earnings calls or trading updates, however you want to call that. When we did this the first times, especially my Bulgarian colleagues said, do you really think this is needed? Come on, we can publish. We started to publish as well our numbers earlier, not on the last day as legally required, because there is a habit that the maximum is 6 weeks after the quarter is closed. The maximum, and not like 6 weeks later. So if you do all this, the investors, the Western investors have different habits. They're used to different things. So you need to do much more. Attend investors' conferences, roadshows, and later you will see how much we did. That's really essential to explain always the same story. And it started with, who are you? Alterco, okay, what are you doing? Shelly and the investors, and we are quite known in Germany as a brand for smart home enthusiasts, but the investors have never heard about that. So I started to explain to them what Shelly is doing as if they were 6 years old. So what can you do with smart home? That's not technology, guys, that's number crunches. You need a precise reporting. We had a good reporting all the time, but starting with the quarterly earnings calls, with explaining more the numbers, with disclosing more, and Raphael said, the more you do, the better. Yes, the more and you have to do more than is required. As well, you have to be careful, because if you give an investor one-time information, he wants to have it for all the lifetime. So you will never turn that back. So you have to find the right level of information that you give them, but you have to do something. And we are today, with our reports, better than more open than we have been. We keep the 6 weeks. We are even now much earlier, so that we can look at the data. Is there some mistake in? So we are really sure and good in what we do there. And in the last, I think, 9 or 10 quarters, we delivered exactly what we promised, even a little bit above. Exactly what you promised, a little bit above. That's the trick. Not below, not too far above, because too far above is as well not good. Everyone will say they don't know what they do. So you have to steer the business and the reporting. If I would say, Svetozar sits there, he will not like when I say we are maybe at 60, 70% of what we need here, because we are pretty much linked still to Bulgarian standards, and that's not good enough for Western Europe. So our reporting, and Western European investors tell me all the time, Wolfgang, why are you reporting this? We are legally obliged to do this in Bulgaria. They are not understanding this. Some things that require an ad hoc in Bulgaria are not even in use in Western Europe. So now imagine you make an ad hoc, and it's visible in Frankfurt, and German investors say, what the hell are they doing? I mean, this is an ad hoc. This is not even a corporate news, like a marketing news. But we are obliged to do so. So that's something that if I have a wish, try to kind of match the two things, so that, I mean, that's regulatory things, but it's really a challenge to match all those two levels. So we will make the next steps in the next 6 months, 12 months. We will update a little bit, and we'll continue to be better, because this is definitely something that is needed. The rule of 7, I picked this up somewhere. Someone told me that in average you need 7 contacts to a new investor before he considers to buy the shares. 7. We have some exceptions, but some of them I think I've seen 20 times already. And then if I ask, did you buy shares? Sometimes they say yes, sometimes they say no, I'm considering. So it takes a very long time. And once again, fair or not fair, the first thing is they say, where's the company located? Bulgaria. Okay, thank you. It's not fair, but it's a fact, and you have to fight against this. So you have to be better than the others. You have to report better than the others. You have to be a little bit earlier, and you have to constantly deliver your numbers. Resources. Resources is time, and I told you 50% of my time is. That's a nice investment, and it's, by the way, it's now going for Shelly Group. It's going beyond. So I've been last year at the first big investor conference in the United States. And that's very useful to say we are listed in Frankfurt, because if you tell the US guys we are in Sofia, they say, where's Sofia? Is this close to Munich or where is this? So that's really helpful as well to open the door to the whole world. And now we see that this first attempt to the United States is paying back. I will be at an investors conference in Las Vegas, and I see my calendar is fully booked in the United States. So as in Europe, it was completely empty for the first meetings. And now it's booked and overbooked, so I have no single slot, but it needs a lot of things. And it needs money. So the first listing in Frankfurt in total was round about a one-time cost of round about 200,000 euros. Now we have additional annual costs for all these advisors and listings and designated sponsors and everything. They all want to have money, only our best, only our money. This will be between 200 and 250,000. I don't want to exaggerate, but I think it goes as well in the direction of 300,000, especially because if we have to pay more, these 10 cents per 1 million market cap, if the market cap goes up, it costs more. So it needs resources, and once again, it's not only the money, it's my time, it's the time of a full team, of the finance team, of the legal team, of investors relation. There's a full team working on that, together with a very good selected team of advisors we have, and we found the right ones for Germany and the European market, and that's really important. I already said build trust, make promises and deliver. I always say it's totally easy to predict the future, just make a promise and keep it. And this is something that investors really appreciate. With our numbers, it's relatively easy. If you follow Shelly a little bit, we are growing more than 50% in revenue, more or less every year, or above 50%. And we want to keep close to that speed, a little bit less, because the basis is quite high. We have an EBIT margin of 25%. That is outstanding. And we have enough cash to finance our growth, so we don't need capital increases every now and then. That's not normal in our business. There are a lot of smart home companies that are collecting investors' money every 6 months. I don't know what they do with the money. We are highly profitable. We are reinvesting the money in growth, in new products, R&D, new countries. So we have a clear idea, and still we need to deliver every quarter. And when we just a small anecdote, when we gave out the guidance for this year in the first earnings call, and we said it will be 105 million, there was, especially from Bulgarian investors, a huge disappointment. What do you mean? 105, that's only 40% growth. I mean, you are destroying the company. That's complete disaster. And why is the EBIT margin not going to 30%? I mean, now we have to reach 30%. So it's complete deception. When 2 years ago, 1.5 years ago, when we said in 2026 we will reach 200 million euro revenue, the same investor said this guy is completely crazy, completely insane. This will never ever happen. And when I explained this is an average growth rate of 40%, 42%, no, it's too much. So now I say 40% growth, everyone says disappointed, I have to sell the shares because the company is in danger. So you have to be really careful what you say, because everyone and every investor, and especially the institutionals, when they sit in front of me, they note every word that you say, every single word. And they come back, they never forget. I mean, the computer never forgets. I'm running out of time already. Professional advisors, I talked about this, and we have found a couple of good ones. So if you need some help, if you want to go there and some contacts, we can help with that. At the end, you have to make your own decisions. So the advisors only tell you, you can do this or you can do that. Especially legal advisors they never say this is 100% sure. Oh, there is a risk that might be. So you have to take the risk. At the end, you have to take the risk. But this is something that is important to have the right ones. So now I said, would we do it again? Yes. Yesterday, there was an article in a German investors newspaper. Headline was, Shelly is cracking the 200% barrier. So we grew our share price 200% in the last 12 months, which is something. Now, all this share price, I want to say it again, all this share price development is only coming from not only a financial teamwork and investors relation to sell a nice story and the future is bright, we are delivering. So we have a team of R&D, of sales, that is really fulfilling the pipelines and making new countries and doing really a lot to fulfill the numbers. I have a relatively easy job to do with all the time investments, because if you see investors, it's totally easy to sell those numbers. Growing 50%, 25% EBIT margin, 90% equity ratio, enough cash on the bank account. So whatever number you look at is great. And when I talk to my German friends, I'm in a group of CEOs of bigger companies from Germany, and I say, oh, stock exchange is great. They all say, are you completely insane? Wait until you have one bad quarter and a second bad quarter, they will slaughter you. They will kill you. You will not survive that. So we have to deliver our numbers, and we plan to deliver our numbers. So if you look to this curve, what happened end of 21 is we went public in Frankfurt. We made the double listing. And as I said before, the expectations of Bulgarian shareholders grew. Share price was around 8 euros, so 16 leva roundabout. And then it grew, step by step. So the weeks before we went public in Frankfurt, it went to 9 euros, 10 euros, 11, 12, 13. Everyone said, you know, Wolfgang, see, exactly what we predicted, it happens. Then in Frankfurt Stock Exchange was very polite and defined the first opening price at 14.50 euros. And during the day, the price jumped to 15, and then it went all the way down to 8. Because again, there was no interest in the German market. Why? No one knows. There's a company going public in Frankfurt. Nice, that happens every day. And then we started with the earning calls. In 2022, we had the 4 every quarter, one of our calls. The first call was, I think, around about 100 participants. When I saw the number, I said, wow, that's great. Afterwards, I made an analysis, found out that it's 80 of our internal people. And the last earnings call was, I think, 160, 170 people, only a few from internal, and the quality of investors participating is increasing rapidly. So we have a completely different level after 2 years, more than 2 years. So it takes time. Then the share price was flat for a very long time. In 22, I was at 3 investors' conferences. In 23, last year, I visited 7 investors' conferences. And that's not only the conference, it needs preparation, it needs 2 days, 3 days, the conference itself with going there and evening networking and always telling the same story. So it's really time demanding. And we made 5 roadshows, and we kept the 4 quarterly earnings calls. If we would just not make one of these calls, people would say something is wrong with the company. So that's what I said, if you once do something with investors, you have to continue. Otherwise, they will be disappointed. And then after the first call in 2023, we published our guidance for 2023 and for 2026, the outlook. So where do we want to be in 2020? And then the share price jumped. And I know that some of the investors I've met already 10 times until then. On different conferences, calls in between. I think I have every week 3, 4, 5 one-hour investor calls with people that want to get in touch and want to have some information. You always have to be careful what you can disclose and what you cannot disclose. And this is as well something when Bulgaria is more like, that's like a family thing. So you know something, you tell someone, and then there are some special investors. I don't want to look at anyone here in the room. That one famous sentence I think it was not the last shareholder assembly. Wolfgang, I have 28 questions to you. I will never forget that one. So that's something that you have to be careful. But the share price jumped to like 18, 20, 21, then it came a little bit back, consolidated. And then we saw that it was flat for a while because people waited until what will happen with our annual numbers. And then we published the annual revenue because a lot of, especially Western European investors said they will not make the numbers. I mean, the last quarter for us is revenue-wise 2 quarters. And no one believed that this will happen. And we said, guys, we did this now the last 7 quarters. The quarter number 8 will do the same. That happened, and then it jumped again. And now you can never predict what will happen. So now we published our preliminary revenue for the first quarter this year. It was quite good. We will publish in around about 4 weeks all our numbers. Let's see how they will be. And so we have a very nice development, and of course, we plan to continue to deliver our numbers, and then we will see how the share price reacts. You can never predict this. I would never say, be sure the price goes up another, I don't know what. It can be down tomorrow. So now the next level, and a lot of things have been said. I will not repeat everything, but something that I heard from, I would say, 95% of the smaller institutional investors, and that's the guys we are targeting. We are not going to the big ones. Because the big ones, I tried a couple of times, they say, come on, we can buy shares for 100 million, not below. Everything below, that's not worth looking at it. And all of those, 95% of those said, oh, yeah, looks interesting, I will follow you. Are you on Xetra? No? Okay, forget it. So exactly, I think Raphael said it. They are not allowed to buy a company that is not listed on Xetra. It's about as well the trading volume because they have obligations to be able to sell in a special situation all the package, the whole package, if this is 500,000, 1 million or 10 million within days. And if this is not possible, they are not allowed to buy the share. And that's why we think that Xetra will open new doors. What I hear, I cannot judge that, and we will see, reality will prove. Everyone says that with listing on Xetra, the share price, the trading will go up by ×4. That's what people tell me. I have no idea. So the advisors. If this is ×2, would already be good. But it gives a better visibility. It gives a higher stability. Raphael explained how the designated sponsor is working on that to take out the peaks. Because today we have a situation that with very low trading volumes, the share price goes up sometimes 5% in one day, just like this. So you see today we traded, I don't know, 200 shares, not today, but someone sold 200 shares, he doesn't care about the price, and the price drops by 5%. Sometimes it was even 10%. So that's something that we hope will change with Xetra because you see the order book. You do not just see that there is someone that is selling 200 shares and another one wants to buy 500 shares. You see that below that there is a depth in the order book that is much more, that's deeper. There are more shares that are demanded and that are sold, and that will hopefully match in a much better way. This is a special for Denica. Thank you, Denica. So you can read this afterwards, please, and we will make a small quiz as well. So that's it. Thank you very much again. Thanks to you guys. And looking forward to the next step to be on Xetra, hopefully one day. Something that I learned is for the banking community or stock exchange community, time is something relative. So when I think something is done or it will be soon done, it means it's a couple of days, maybe a couple of weeks. For them, very fast is 1.5 years. Thanks.